Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings.
Hey everybody, sorry to the delay of releasing this video. I dropped my phone and I've done something to the camera. Some of you might know or might not know that I literally film all of my videos on my iPhone. There's no fancy schmancy equipment or anything. So the camera's gone and I'm going to take it into town today. So hopefully you'll be able to see my face tomorrow. But for today we've got lots of pictures. Now what I'm showing you now is the camping trip that we did last weekend. We stayed at Evergreen Farm Camping, which is in East Grinstead, and it was beautiful. Absolutely stunning woodland. You're really closed off. Yeah, it was just really great. You had that kind of whole thing in nature. We were near a pond and we had our own kind of area, so we didn't have people pitching up near us. They put families with children like several pitches away, shall we say. Well, it's not really pitches, it's woodland. But anyway, it was absolutely gorgeous. And I highly recommend anyone that enjoys camping to pop along there at some point, because yeah, no, it's lovely. We saw wild deer running around, friendly cows, bunny rabbits everywhere, and my husband realised that when I see a bunny baby rabbit, I sound like a dog whistle. Yes, I think dogs from miles around can hear me go, "Oh, look at the baby bunny!" Yeah, so sorry for anyone that set your dog off, but yeah, I love a baby bunny rabbit. So, this is part one of Harry's revenge. I was going to title it Narcissist Revenge, or Remember, but I've settled on this one. So, part two, I'm going to be discussing the me you can't see. And so this video, I just want to remind you of a few things that happened and why I don't really believe any of the narratives that Harry is coming out with to do with his family being abusive, and what a traumatic, horrific childhood he had. The things I want to remind people of are: they were happy staying in the royal family. They didn't want to leave the royal family. This is when Megxit first got announced. They wanted to move to Canada, which was obviously now, as we know, a cover for LA, to earn money from lucrative deals, but also work for the Queen, attend celebrations, keep royal privileges, patronages, security, Frogmore, allowances, expenses. So they basically wanted to cherry pick what royal engagements they did. I'm guessing for Meghan, only the ones that she deemed fun, that would give them enough media coverage. But then also schmooze and mingle with, I guess, the people that they're swimming in the pond with now. Would you call it a pond? It's more of a swamp, really. They wanted this half in, half out. We want to be full-time royals and get all the perks and privileges, but be able to commoditise it, to sell it, to merchandise our brand, our USA royal brand. So then after that was denied, they were not allowed a half in and half out. They then turned around and said that they loved Canada so much they wanted Archie to have a normal life away from the fishbowl and the photographers. So you thought, oh, okay, yeah, he wants his son away from the royal family. That picture of Harry holding Archie up with that beautiful lake in the background, and you thought, okay, fair enough. You know, if he wants out and they want out, they've done it in a terrible way, but yeah, sure, fine, okay. So people were still rooting for them then and going, yeah, okay, I understand. But then they kind of soured people's good vibes towards them, because the string of demands that they did, they kicked off, if everyone remembers. As soon as they were told no, they basically did a list of demands. They said that the Queen doesn't own the word royal. So then that's when the Megxit Emergency Summit meeting at Sandringham was held, and Prince Philip reportedly walked out before Harry arrived, obviously too disgusted with his grandson to even see him. So after Charles, William and the Queen got together, and I'd imagine pretty much slapped down most of the ridiculous demands that they made, that is when the narrative changed. And I don't understand why so many people are falling for this new narrative. That's when we really started being plugged with the Meghan was treated unfairly, never accepted. Racism by the UK media. Meghan's soul was being crushed. Catherine and William were jealous because of Meghan's star quality. Meghan shone brighter than Diana in the Australasia tour. But it was all to do with the pressures and the dark forces. But it still wasn't as strong as the narrative that Harry's coming out with now. But clearly, although the titles weren't taken, something did happen. And we haven't heard about it because I believe that it was done internally. But Harry did lose his military honours. He wasn't stripped. Some people get confused that they stripped him of his army career. No, it's nothing to do with his army career and what he did in Afghanistan, you know, the rank of captain, his little medal that he got. It's the honorary one, where the best way I can compare it to is like a royal family mascot for certain events. And then they also lost their patronages. So clearly, this is when They didn't get what they wanted. Now, when you think about it, the royal family are terrible, the institution, Harry's exhausted, he couldn't work for more than like a few hours a month. It's too much stress and strain on him. So why did they insist on staying part of the royal family? Why did they want Sussex Royal? Why did they still want their patronages, the honours? So they did want to stay part of that horrific, racist, controlling, abusive family. So this is where they're completely contradicting themselves. So the other thing as well which irritates me is like Finding Freedom came out. We know that they collaborated with the authors on it. We were told every minute personal detail of their relationship, from Meghan being serenaded while doing yoga in Africa, going off and peeing in bushes, from what they had, where they had their first drinks and what food they ate. So you'd think if Finding Freedom, which they collaborated on, was to tell their truth, their side of the story, right, this is this version of truth, why is none of the stuff that they said in Oprah been brought up in Finding Freedom? Surely them finding freedom, and if they'd done all this sob story and everything else, so they didn't say anything close to that then. But then they hadn't been told no and actually cut off. I guess they didn't think, I don't think that they genuinely thought that the Queen and Charles would reach a point and go, no, you are losing your honours, no, because Harry has never been told no. So each time that they have been told no and they've had stuff taken away from them, that's when the stories or the untruths become more and more serious, and the allegations seem to be getting worse and worse. If Harry wanted out, and he wanted out, he's admitted that he wanted out since he pretty much joined it. Meghan became suicidal, they both suffered mental anguish, barely survivable. So why did they originally, as I said, want to stay in the fold? If Meghan was bullied by the Cambridges, ostracised and mistreated so badly, why did they demand to keep all the privileges and want to remain so close to the royal family? Now I'm going to tell you what I know here, bearing in mind that I'm not an actual trained therapist. This is my opinion on narcissists from my own experiences and various articles and books that I've read about it. But narcissists protect themselves, and also they protect their mark, their intended target, by keeping people away that could threaten the hold that they have on their actual, I would say, victim. Now, what they do is often the first people to be removed from your life are your friends. Or it can just be anyone that the narcissist sees around you that thinks that they'll be able to see through them, that they're not falling for their charm. They like a lot of us spotted with Meghan, we were like, no, there's something not right there. So these are the people that the narcissist is going to target fairly quickly, because these are going to be the people in your life that are going to try and talk sense into you, and they'll be the ones most likely that you'd listen to. So William was one of the first that we're aware of that basically turned around and said, just slow it down. He was a bit unsure about it, at the speed at which the relationship was moving. And we saw lots of pictures and stuff where she was giving William, you know, the doe eyes. And I honestly think that she probably tried the Diana thing, you know, the Diana looks and the timid looks and everything else that she did on Harry. And I think William saw straight through it. Harry, as we know, didn't see through it, and he fell for it hook, line and sinker. So I believe that Harry was then at that point fed the lines, you know, the doe-eyed, your brother doesn't like me because I'm not white, because I'm not British, because I'm not rich. Whatever she could possibly say to trigger Harry's need to protect her. Now, Catherine was next on the firing line, or she might have always been the first one that Meghan intended to get rid of, because she had a close relationship with Harry. They were very close, with Harry often referencing, you know, he's so happy that Catherine joined the family. She was a sister he never had. Now, Catherine went out of her way to welcome Meghan. Meghan admitted this herself. You know, they tried to cook vegetarian dinners for them, but then it started getting a little bit weird. There were rumours that Meghan had tried to take photographs of the Cambridge children, and Meghan's general haughty attitude was pretty off-putting, I think, to down-to-earth Catherine. Meghan had, like, torn into their nanny that they've had for years, Maria. And you just don't do that. Catherine had to say, I talk to my staff. You know, we don't treat them as the servants beneath you. And the Queen, obviously, that came up as well, where Meghan had bollocked her chefs, calling them liars. I mean, it takes a certain level of entitlement and arrogance, doesn't it, to join the royal family from being someone that grew up in a working-class family for Meghan until her dad won big. But to talk to people like that, to see them as a pebble on your shoe. Meghan since complained that, you know, Catherine didn't do enough, Catherine didn't bother with her, but, you know, Meghan said it herself that they've been so welcoming. And that's the thing, it was, you know, Catherine, you've got to remember, she had 2 kids under the age of 5, and then her 3rd pregnancy with Prince Louis, and she suffered from, I can't pronounce it, basically the worst type of morning sickness, which can actually be life-threatening to mother and baby. But Harry, being the kind of easily manipulated twit that he is, I think that he just fell for all of the, oh, Catherine doesn't invite me round, she doesn't like me, she didn't give me a lift, she went shopping with her friends and didn't take me. I think Meghan was then feeding stuff into his ear, and Harry automatically just then started turning on his family. Even the drama over the bridesmaid dresses, or tights, we'll probably never really know the truth about what happened or who made who cry. But given that Omid wrote in Finding Freedom that Catherine came round with flowers to make peace, and Meghan told her it's not good enough and slammed the door in her face, I think I can take an educated guess as to who made who cry. So if Meghan said on Oprah it was over such a silly little tiff, why bring it up on Oprah several years later like it's a big thing? So why on earth were flowers not good enough if it was just over something so silly? Because she had to make Catherine look the bad guy in Harry's eyes. Now, don't forget, Meghan made up rumours as well about David Beckham's wife, Victoria Beckham, selling stories to the press. David and Harry had been friends for 10 years, and she riled Harry up so much that Harry actually contacted David, who was obviously offended and defended his wife. Now, they obviously patched it up enough for Victoria to go to the wedding because they were there, but I don't think, that they had the close bond anymore. There has, however, been several reports that have come out since where they actually said that Meghan asked Victoria if she could wear her fashion designs for free. Victoria turned around and said no, because she doesn't actually do that with any of her friends. They have to buy the clothes. Obviously, she gives them a massive discount, but she doesn't give her designs out for free. Is that what triggered Meghan? Victoria said no to her, so she's like, right, I'm going to mess this up. Or was it her just flexing her muscles and testing the water of how quickly she can get Harry to turn and to suspect his friends just on her say-so? Various leaks from media personalities that knew Harry's circle of friends started happening. Harry was reportedly just cutting off people randomly with no warning, no discussion. His mobile number was changed and only a few new people got the number. Apparently anyone that was deemed as a bad influence on Harry by his therapist, his fiancée, that anyone that she saw that wasn't good enough for Harry, or presumably anyone that could see through her act, they got cut off. The thing is, Harry probably didn't even notice his friends becoming absent in his life and, his life changing so rapidly, as he had Meghan, who adored him, worshipped him, made him feel like he was the most amazing man in the world. He'd do anything to make her happy, and the more that he changed and did everything that she said, the more she made him feel like a king. It's like you do treat training with a puppy. Oh, he's a good boy, here's a treat. So anyone that has dated a narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath, anyone with any of those traits, all of the above, they can tell you that when that person wants to charm you or melt you into a ball of goo, even if you're angry at them, just at the click of the fingers, they literally make you putty in their hands. They are masterminds at learning how you tick from the first conversation. A therapist friend of mine explained to me that they can use such subtle gestures, glances, touches, and we think they're being attentive, sweet, romantic, when in reality, they're a parasite looking to attach to a new host, and they're probing you, working you out and trying to see what gets a positive reaction, what gets a negative response. And they use this to become the perfect person, the most amazing person you've ever met. And that is really scary. Now, if you are a target and that person is doing that from the first conversation, probing you, trying to find out, they're trying to mimic you, trying to work out how they can blindside you and become like the best thing that has ever happened to you very, very quickly, you imagine what upper hand that person would have if they had watched you for years. They've watched you on TV, they've read about the things you've done from school, the friends that you had, the partying, the nightclubs you like going to, the clubs that you've joined, joining the army. They've watched you on TV talking about your heartbreak, your loss, the worst moments of your life, the things that make you happy, the things that make you laugh. You get what I'm saying? Is he kind? I didn't know anything about him. I didn't even Google him. And reality is, she had a manual on Harry before he had even laid eyes on her. I think Harry is easily manipulated, and I definitely think she still has that hold on him, but I also think that he is a bit of a narcissist as well. It took Meghan to help feed his ego to epic proportions, which we now see, but I don't think he's too dissimilar to her. although she is definitely more intelligent and more cunning. I don't believe either of them are particularly nice people, and to try and market themselves as kind and compassionate humanitarians whilst attacking their families, and not just attacking their families personally, they're doing it on TV, which means they're encouraging their followers, new fan base, a new audience to also have these, feelings and negative attitude towards his family. But on the plus side, the more Harry slags off his family and the more Harry changes his tune and contradicts himself, and all of the years we've seen Harry, anyone can Google nice things he said about Charles, to now he's getting more and more vindictive. More stuff is coming out that we've never even heard of before, and he's definitely not the old Harry. He's this new woke Harry. The words that come out of his mouth aren't even his. They might think that they're taking down the monarchy, but if anything, I think that they are showing their true colours even to their new fan base and their new audience, and the more we see of them, the more people are just going, I don't believe this anymore. That's not a couple that wanted privacy. That's not a compassionate couple. How can he promote mental health while attacking his 95-year-old grandmother who has just buried her partner of 73 years? His own grandparents, and he's slagged them off literally weeks after Philip has been buried. So I say give Harry the microphone as often as he likes, because every time he speaks, the better that our royal family are looking, and the more people that are beginning to see through them. It's a case of giving them enough rope to hang themselves, and they're certainly doing that in style. So I will be back with part 2 very, very soon, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Just for some of you, I know you're probably going to already been asking, I'm doing a Catherine and William Scotland tour. They're having their own video, and that's going to be my first video for June. Okie dokie, hopefully see you soon. Bye!
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.